So as you can see by the title, I'm going to be reviewing the EZP Junior by Transthetics. And I'm so excited to just be able to do this review because I actually got it because I won the competition by Transthetics. Because every so often they do a giveaway for one of the products. And obviously I entered and I ended up winning it and I was so excited. I'm still really excited the fact that I actually have it. But yeah, anyway, obviously I'm going to show you it, but before I have to do a little warning for people who don't want to see it. So this video will contain a realistic looking prosthetic penis and is for educational purposes to help trans guys out with packing and STPs and deciding what to get. These products aren't for sex, they're just to alleviate dysphoria. So if you don't want to see a realistic looking prosthetic, or you're a friend or family member, somebody who knows me in real life and doesn't want to see my penis basically, then please click away from this video now. I'll give you a quick countdown of 5 seconds. Right, so he's still here, so obviously you want to see it. Here it is. So yeah, as I said, this is the EZP Junior by Transthetics. It comes in 3 different shades, which is light, medium and dark. This one that I've got is the light. And to buy, they're around the £150 mark. Which, for a realistic STP, is actually very low in price compared to a lot of the other stuff that you see. So in a minute I'll talk to you about packing and peeing with this. But first of all, I'm going to show you the packaging that it actually came in because I know a lot of people are curious about the packaging it comes in and if it's discreet and stuff like that. Just double checking that I actually crossed off everything that had my address on it. So this is the packaging it came in. It comes in like fairly big packaging to say it's that. So yeah, basically this came to my door. I had to sign for the parcel, although actually my mum signed for it because I was in my pants and in a hoodie with no binder. So I actually didn't sign for it, but so it came in here and I opened it dodgily just because I was so excited. I literally just ripped it and pulled it out. So as you can see, it's just got your general stuff. In the description of the contents, it just says soft toy, which is obviously really, really good. It doesn't say like big prosthetic penis or something. Not that it would anyway, but just so you know what it will be categorised as. And it actually doesn't say the company name anywhere either, so people couldn't like go, oh, who's this company, and look it up for some reason. Not that I think anybody would, but it's not on there either. It just says Alex Just, which is the guy that makes them and sells them and stuff, his address, and then obviously your name, your address, which I've crossed out, and just Great Britain and Ireland. So yeah, the packaging is obviously very discreet. It doesn't say the company name on it, it doesn't say that it's like a prosthetic or anything like that, it just says soft toy. But yeah, they mark it down as a gift, so that it doesn't guarantee that it won't get custom charges, but it means that it's a lot less likely to. It's just kind of subject to the random screening process. They'll just pick up random ones and screen them and make sure that they're alright and stuff. So yeah, that's the packaging, and we'll talk about what came in the packaging. So what came was obviously the EZP, and it came in this little bag, so you can just like, obviously if you're not using it, it stops the sort of oily secretions, which this I haven't had any problems with, and obviously it's kind of made so that it doesn't need powder and stuff, because if it got wet and then got all sticky, that'll be bad because it's an STP and you're going to pee through it all the time. But yeah, so you get a little bag for it so that, I mean, it's good for when I just have it on my side because I can put it in the bag, and if someone walks in, they don't just see my dick on the side, they just see a bag. And inside there was also this piece of paper. So yeah, it's just got a logo on it, and then it's like a complete guide to the STP. Like tips and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's got a lot of stuff on it, but I'll just sort of quickly, briefly give you an overview of what it says, and I'll like take a picture of it and put it on the screen for a couple of seconds. So if you want to read it all, just pause it and have a look. So yeah, I'll just sort of read the headings of everything instead of all the paragraphs and stuff. So it says, remember gravity and wear appropriate pants. Wear snug underwear. Go up the pants. It's not a limpet. What's that? Oh, it just says like, don't grab it and push it up against yourself, like hold it loosely. Vary positions. So in different situations you need it sort of maybe pack it in a different position and stuff. Is it empty after you've peed? Make sure that it's completely empty so when you put it back in your pants you're not going to have a massive puddle. Cleaning and longevity. I don't know what that word means, but yeah. I think it's like how, like the lifespan of something. And then a little bit about odour, basically saying it's got that silicone-y smell. Like when you first get something it's going to smell like new, but maybe weird because it's like silicone and everything kind of has a bit of a weird smell. But once you started washing it, obviously the smell of whatever soap you're using will like take over and it won't smell. And then it just says if you have any feedback, whatever, and like the website and the YouTube and stuff. But yeah, this is very, very handy because it goes into depth about like everything. So if you do get one, make sure you read this because it's very, very good. And like I said, if you do want to read the whole thing, I'll put a picture of it up so you can just like pause it and read it all if you want to. Alright, so that's the packaging, so now we'll talk about how it looks. So when I first got this, obviously I was excited anyway because I was like, I'm going to be able to stand to pee at some point. I'll probably pee myself a million times, but still. And it looks very, very nice. Like, it's got serious detail. There's even like different coloured head to the body, so that adds like more depth and sort of realism to it. And yeah, there's just like details everywhere. I'll show you a close-up now. So this is it. See underneath? There's just like lines and little details everywhere, and like different coloured paint within the lines and stuff. It just gives it a lot of depth. Got like the big vein running up there. Like, it seriously just looks so nice. Like, there's not even a point where the detail really stops. It's like literally everywhere. You see inside of the cup, there's a few bits of fluff stuck in that because I washed it and it might have been a bit wet when I put it back down. But yeah, the cup inside's like sort of glazed, like it's shiny, it reflects stuff. When I first got it, I was looking at it, I'm like, why is it all shiny inside? I thought there was something wrong with it. Then I realised it's probably so that it's sort of more streamlined, so that when you pee, it slides off better and nothing sort of like collects in. And as you can see, it's got this like non-spill lid on it, so rather than it just being like thin, there's like a lip on it. I don't know how to show you without like, if you can see that. So that's really good for like stopping it from overflowing and stuff. And then there's the pee hole. You can literally just see straight through it. Yeah, there's a pee hole, which is quite big, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So yeah, the look of it, I really can't complain. It's really, really realistic looking. It's just got a lot of detail everywhere, and it's just made really, really well. The only thing that I could say about it, that's not even a bad point, because it's kind of a pro and kind of a con, but the pro definitely outweighs the con, which is the size of the pee hole, because it is quite big. Like, I've never had any other STPs, but you can see in other STPs that the hole tends to be a lot smaller than this. And it did sort of make me think, like, if you're at a urinal and somebody looks, like, would it look weird? But then when I actually thought about it, and the position of it when you're stood, like, it's going to be pointed down, and anybody looking is going to be looking from an above view, so where you wouldn't even see the pee hole. And nobody's generally looking long enough to be able to notice if you've got a big pee hole or not, and if they are, then I think the fact that you've got a big pee hole is the least of their worries. But yeah, so it's not even really an issue, and there's a great pro out of it, which is the fact that, and the pro about it is really, really good at the fact that it sort of works well for function. Obviously it means that the pee comes out faster because there's a bigger opening, which means that you could sort of pee faster, so you have to do a lot less of trying to control your pee. And like I said, with it coming out faster, that would generally mean that it's less likely to overflow if you pee quite a lot. So yeah, really no bad points. That's definitely more of a pro than it is a con, and I don't think there's any really situations where it would be a real con. And also, this isn't the original EZP, as I said, this is the EZP Junior, which is just a small kind of adaptation of the original EZP. The only difference between this and the original EZP is the size of the shaft. So the shaft of the original EZP is 3 inches, and on this one it's 2.5 inches. And that is literally the only difference, is the shaft size. The rest of it is exactly the same. Because the point of the EZP Junior was sort of aimed more towards trans youth. Because obviously, as cis guys get older, they go through puberty, things grow, including the penis. So this was kind of more of a realistic size for younger trans guys, rather than some that you see like 5 or 6 inches, like the size of a fully grown penis, which at say like 13, 14 years old isn't realistic. So yeah, this is more of a realistic size for younger people, and it's also great for smaller trans guys who want something a bit smaller because it feels more sort of proportional. Because for me, I feel like bigger packers and STPs feel strange and wouldn't feel right to me just because I'm quite short, I'm like 5'3", so I feel like that's just more proportional to my body and just makes me feel better. And again, it's great for guys that just don't want a big STP, or guys that are planning on getting metoidioplasty in the future, because this is definitely more of a realistic size in terms of the size that you'll generally get from Meta. So yeah, just in case you're wondering what the difference between the EZP and the EZP Junior is, it's just 0.5 of an inch in the shaft, that's it. Alright, so now we'll just talk quickly about packing with it. So as it says on the informational sheet that you'll get, you're supposed to pack with it up, so say like this is me, my junk, this is it. So like, pack it up or up and to the side, but it shouldn't be pointing down, because obviously it's rigid, it's not like, yeah, it'll get damaged and it won't look right anyway. It does say to avoid bending the shaft down, because like, say if you've got I've got a packer next to me, so I'm literally just going to grab that just to show you really quick. So yeah, this is obviously a lot bigger than this, but just as a quick example, so obviously soft packers like this will generally naturally sit with the shaft pointing down over the top of the balls. And it'll be the same for like most soft packers that you get. But this is not a soft packer, so it, like as you can see, it's rigid. I mean, it's not completely rigid, it's got some movement to it, so it's comfortable, but it's more rigid than that. But it means that this won't naturally sit with the shaft of the balls. Like, you can bend it, and you can see it looks kind of flat, and some people do pack with it like this, and it would probably look alright. But obviously if you're bending this all the time, this section of the silicone is going to wear down and sort of get thinner with time, and it means that it's not going to function as well as an STP, and it means that it's probably going to break a lot sooner than it would have done if you would have packed with it up that it's supposed to. I personally haven't even tried packing with it down just because I was like, I'm going to try my best and get used to packing with it up so that I can, because I don't want to pack with it down and like reduce the lifespan of it. And it's been absolutely fine. Like, I thought it was going to be really, really uncomfortable, and at first it felt a bit weird because I was used to really soft packers and pointing down, but it literally, I don't even notice it's there. And I will show in a minute what underwear I use for this and what it looks like in your pants. What I will say is, obviously, if you're looking for quite a big bulge, which I think most guys kind of look for just a bit of a bulge, and it's more so for them personally, but some guys might like to have quite a big bulge, in which case this is probably definitely not the one for you. Then you probably want sort of a bigger STP that will create more of a bigger bulge that will sit like that, because with this sitting up you're going to get like the balls are quite flat, they don't stick out and protrude as much as like other packers will. So you kind of just get a little bit of a bulge from this, and then that kind of sits up against like your leg or whatever. And you have to be careful while packing this for the fact that because it is pointed up and it's quite rigid, it can sort of look like you've got a donor, which is not great. But yeah, so I'll show you that now. Alright, so I don't know how good of an angle this is, so I apologise if it's a bit crap. But these are the pants that I use. So as you can see here, they've got a fly, which means, you know, you can go in and pull it. I mean, I've got it in my hand, but you can like go in and pull it out when you need to pee. But I will say is these aren't the best style of underwear for packing, because the fact that they're trunks, they're a lot more sort of an open space in the crotch area. It won't hold it up against you as well. The thing you'll want to sort of hold it up more tightly against you is brief style underwear. But when I went to go and buy these, I looked for some brief style underwear, asked somebody in the shop, and they didn't have any. So I ended up just getting these for the time being, and my mum and dad are actually in town right now, and I've asked them to go and pick me up some of the same thing with the same fly from the same place, just in brief style. So if you do manage to put those up, I will insert a clip of me and those, showing you how it packs. So yeah, I've also got an extra pair on. I don't normally wear an extra pair, this is just for this video so that when I show you, you're definitely just going to see the STP and not actually me. But yeah, so you pack it like you put it, also I can show you the position a bit better. So you would put it like up against yourself, and then the shaft, I put it like in the crease of my leg, because it just kind of sits better there. And pull up, and that's how it would sit. Like, as you can see, it's sticking out quite a lot. And the way that I help with that is, if you've had top surgery, this isn't really going to apply to you, but if you do still bind, I put the top of my binder just over the like shaft, so that holds it up against me a lot better. It won't move around as much, and it will hold it sort of flatter to me, so it's not going to look as sticking out and obvious. And then the balls just kind of like hang there, so like that. And then that doesn't look as bad. And you can still see the imprint of it, but when you're wearing trousers, you literally can't see anything. That's what I mean about like the sort of big bulge. If you're looking for that sort of thing, then this isn't going to give you a big bulge, because as you can see, it's still very flat, especially compared to other packers. So yeah, and while I'm here, I'll just show you. So obviously it's got a fly. I'm just going to pull these down a little bit. So it's got the fly, so when you go to pee, you can just pull it out of the, like, it'll be underneath, but yeah. So you can just pull it out and pee, and then put it back, which would be good for if you're going to use it at urinal and stuff. So yeah, that's just like quick, easy guide to packing with it. It's not anything complicated really. So obviously you just saw the pair that I've got on, but I've got another pair here to show you. So it's just general like sort of boxer shorts, but with this fly. And there's no real particular reason that I got these exact ones, apart from the fact that they were the cheapest that I could find. Went into stores to try and find some of these, but in the brief style, because they had them online, and could find these ones, got them, asked the woman for some brief style ones, she went in the back and found out there was none left. So I just got these, and they work fine, like I said, but I think the brief styles would definitely work better, because you don't have to like mess around putting your binder on top. It means that getting it out's a little bit less complicated, because you got to kind of untuck it from your binder before you put it underneath yourself and pee. But they work fine. And yeah, like I said, I kept the packaging just so you could see exactly which ones they were. So these from Primark, £6.50. I got them in a medium, obviously depending on your size, what you would normally get. So I would normally probably get large in pants, but I got a medium so that they're just that little bit tighter. Which I always do whenever I get underwear that's for packing. And yeah, they're called jersey chunks with the keyhole fly. And it's just got the diagram and the different colours they get. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the main function of this, which is peeing. So what I do is just sort of squat so that I like open my legs a little bit, put it underneath, and then close my legs back up and hold it. I normally use like one hand just a little bit under the cup. As it says in the thing, don't push it up against you, because if you push it, it's made so that it's rigid enough that it will stay there, but so it's not uncomfortable, so it's still got a little bit of give. So if you're like pushing up, it's going to push the cup in, and it's going to make this bit flatter and this bit more, so the cup is going to get considerably smaller and you're going to have an accidental leak all over yourself. So if you're holding it, just hold your hand underneath, don't actually push on it, just have it there to keep it stable, and then use your other hand to just bend that down a little bit. So obviously, rather than it being just pointed directly, you can point it a little bit more towards the toilet, and then pee. Like I said, the good thing about this with having the bigger pee hole is that you don't need to control your pee so much, but you do still have to sometimes control your pee to some degree. If you're desperate and you're going to have a big pee, obviously you can't just go at the same speed forever and expect it all to come out, because if you're peeing at a faster rate than the pee's coming out, then this is going to start filling up and eventually overflow. So what I do, and found that works very, very well if you are desperate and are going to have a big pee, is to let some out for a few seconds, stop for like a second or two, then pee again for a few seconds, stop for a second or two, and it means that this is filling up, and when you stop for a few seconds, it goes down again, so you can carry on peeing, and it just lets it go down before you start peeing again. So it's never going to get overflown. I only gauge it on the fact that obviously you can see the stream, and you can see if you're peeing, it's going to come out like a solid stream, and when you stop for a few seconds, you'll see the stream sort of get a little bit smaller, and I don't know, like rather than it being like this, it's like this. And then I start peeing again, so you can see that obviously it's emptied more because there's less coming out. But yeah, you'll get what I mean. When you use it, once you see the stream starting to get smaller because there's less in it, then start peeing again. So it'll be like, pee, stop, pee, stop, pee. Yeah, so you don't have to stop for very long, it just lets that empty a little bit more. So yeah, how was this when I first used it to pee? So yeah, the first time I peed with this, and I recommend that you do this too, was in the bath. So my shower is like over the top of my bath, I don't have a separate shower. But if you have a separate shower, maybe do it in the shower, or the bath, whichever one you want. So yeah, the first time that I peed with this was in the bath, with absolutely nothing on my bottom half. But it was just so that if I did leak and pee on myself, it was going to go into the bath, so it was going to be easy to clean up and not all over the floor, and it wasn't going to get on any clothes or anything because I didn't have anything on my bottom half. So yeah, I did that, and this thing lives up to its name. I expected to pee myself at least like 5 times before I got the technique down and could start to pee without leaking. But no. First time that I used it, peed absolutely fine, no leakages. So I thought that I was going to have to use it in the bath for a few times before I got used to not leaking. But since I didn't leak the first time, it gave me enough confidence to just use it at the toilet the next time. So I did the same thing, nothing on the bottom half, but at the toilet instead of in the bath. So I did that again, absolutely no leakages, absolutely fine. And then the next time that I used it at the toilet, but with just underwear on. Obviously I didn't have the fly underwear then, I didn't get them straight away. So I just had general underwear on, and obviously I had to pull it down, so it was just underneath, which meant if I did leak, it was just going to go on underwear. And again, absolutely no leakages, absolutely fine. So the next time I used it, I was fully clothed. And again, no leaks, absolutely ecstatic. This was all in one day. I think it's because I drank like the whole 2 litres of water. And after that I sort of played around with the position of it and stuff, and tried to find out the best position for me. Because a few times when I'd used it, it was like leaking, not loads, like small amounts out of like the front, which I thought if anything it was going to come out of the back. But then I found out that's because of my stream. Like imagine you just like sat in the toilet and you're peeing, like your pee would probably go down, but mine sort of goes down and bit forward, so rather than like it goes like. So I think mine, rather than going like there, was like hitting there a little bit, and I think that's what the leak was, at like a bit of splashing. So I found that for me it works a lot better. Rather than being like sat like that, it's a little bit more forward, so that it gives more room for like the pee to go forward. So I would definitely recommend playing around with some positions of it and seeing, sort of, maybe just seeing what your stream's like. I know it sounds weird just being like, what's going on down there? But it gives you more of an idea. Like I found that out when I was peeing, and I was like, maybe that's why. And yeah, it worked a lot better. So I definitely recommend that. And using it in public. So I have used it quite a few times in public now. The first few times were always in rooms that were just like a room with a toilet inside itself, so like locked. So there wasn't stalls and urinals and everything. So only one person could be in there at a time. So like I used it in the train station, in the doctors, and in my counselling place a few times. They all have rooms with a toilet on its own, which I think was a good idea at first, because it's definitely less nerve-wracking and a lot easier if you're in the room on your own, which means if anything happens, you can just sort of sort yourself out. If you need to use a sink, it's there, and it's not like trying to get out of the stall to go to the sinks. And yeah, I think it's a good idea for the first time that you do it in public to do it in one of those situations if you can. And when you do first go and do it in public, I would recommend having a spare pair of underwear and trousers with you, just in case. It is a good idea. So other than that, I've only used it I think twice in like cubicles. So not just in on my own in the toilets with other people, but in the stalls and the cubicles. So yeah, I did that for the first time a few days ago, and it was slightly unnerving the fact that I also had to go to, there's only 2 stalls, and they used to both have a lock, but at some point somebody broke it off, so one of the toilets doesn't have a lock. And there's also somebody who likes to block up the toilet that does have a lock with tissue. So obviously this had to happen as I needed to pee for the first time with this. So I had to go to the stall without a lock. But yeah, so that made me a little bit more nervous, but it worked absolutely fine. I didn't pee on myself, so that's alright. And I did have trousers and pants with me that day because I knew at some point I was going to use it, and that did make me feel a little bit less nervous knowing that if I did pee on myself, at least I could sort myself out and get changed into new trousers. Also, I don't think I mentioned that I've had this for a little bit over 2 weeks now. So I got it 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, and it's currently Sunday, the day that this is going up. So I've had it for like 2 weeks and 4 days, and I'm pretty sure that I've mastered it, because the only time it's ever like the tiniest bit of leak is like a tiny bit outside, it's a few drops, and that's it. And that's not every time, that's like every 20 times or something. So it is very, very easy to master, especially if you use it every single day. Like if you leak, don't be discouraged, don't just go, and stop using it for the day. If you do leak a little bit when you're peeing, just sort of hold it in for a second, reposition it, pee a little bit again if it's still leaking. Keep doing that, because if you've already peed, then it's not going to make a difference if you pee a little bit more, but it will help you to sort of gather the position of where it needs to be so that you won't leak. And like I say, mastered in 2 weeks, so it really is an easy pee. But yeah, one thing I will say that I noticed actually while I was doing my first pee ever at college, in like a public toilet that wasn't on its own, is that, I don't know how this is with the EZP, I imagine it would be a little bit better considering the shaft is a little bit longer and this was kind of the issue. I mean, generally I don't wear trousers that have flies, I normally just wear joggers. But it was warm when I was wearing shorts, and my shorts have a fly on them. So I thought, oh, you know what, I'll put it through the fly of the pants and through... Keep dropping it. And then through the fly of the shorts. So I don't need to pull my shorts down, it's just through and through. So I tried doing that, and I don't know if it was just the style of my shorts and they stuck out a little bit more, but you could see just about the head of it. And so I ended up just unbuttoning my shorts and just doing it through the fly of my pants instead, because I didn't feel that was a wise idea to do that for the first time ever, in the first time doing it in public, when I didn't really feel good about the fact that I couldn't point the shaft down, because I only had the head and yeah, it just didn't work. So I don't really have any comparisons to make, but I don't know how much half an inch is, but it might be improved a little bit by the EZP if you do want to do it like through your boxer flies and through flies of trousers or whatever. But that's the only really issue that I found, and I don't really care about doing it through my fly of my trousers. But yeah, that's pretty much everything with peeing. In terms of cleaning, I won't show you how to clean it because it's very, very easy how to clean it. I would definitely recommend, if you're using this at home, you're at home and you're in a bathroom and you can use the sink, when you're done peeing with it, like shake it, do your thing, get rid of all the pee, and then just pull it out from underneath you and rinse it in the sink. Because it just gets rid of the pee. There's no point in having excess pee in your pants if you can get rid of it. And also to still wipe yourself afterwards. Because the day before yesterday and yesterday, I've had a little bit of soreness down there. Not terrible, just like a little bit of like irritation. I'm pretty sure that is from the fact that I've been using it out and about, and there's been a few times when I've used it like downstairs and the sink's, it's just a toilet on its own, there's no sink there. I don't really want to wash that in the sink, so I just kind of put it back in like I would do if I were out. And I think it's the fact that there's a little bit of moisture there and walking. It's like chub rub. If you ever had chub rub on your thighs, it's like if you're a bit bigger and you've got bigger thighs and it's like warm out and you're a bit sweaty and your thighs like rub together, it gets a little bit sore, kind of like friction. It's basically like that, but down there. So I've used cream and stuff and it's fine, but I've been making sure to like wipe and everything wherever possible and clean that wherever possible so that I know that it's not going to get excess moisture. At home when you have the opportunity, I'd wash it out. It just means that it's cleaner, because why leave pee to sit in there and be smelly and get it dirty when you don't need to? But yeah, so I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to speak about in this. I made notes of things that I want to remember and make sure that I did mention. But if there's anything that you're wondering about that I didn't mention, or you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and ask. Or if you prefer, or you have any questions in general, or you just want to chat or whatever, you can also message me on any of my social media, which will be on the screen now one of these sides, I don't know, pointing with the packer, because you know. And if you liked the video or you found it helpful at all, please give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe down below to see more from me. I upload every single Sunday, and hit the bell button to be notified when I upload a new video. And follow me on my social media, I think I already mentioned that, but on the screen now. And yeah, so thank you for watching, come on my journey, and I'll see you in the next video.